Hello techies, welcome to IT Tech Solution. This is another video in PySpark learning series where we will be seeing another important function, how to rename a given column name, okay, in a given data set. So there are scenarios, different scenarios where we need to rename the column names. Let's see how we can do that. So first of all, let's just create the Spark session, and the data I'm defining is a simple data, two attributes in it. One is employee name and another one is salary, and I have just created the three records here with the names and salary. So once the Spark session is created here, let's just create this data, and from this data I'm just creating a data frame. Okay, so this is the schema that I am attaching, and with this the data that I have just defined here. So let me run this. I'll just create this data frame. This is the first data frame that we are creating, and let's just see the contents of that data frame and the column names what it has right now. So I'll just do a data frame dot show. So here you can see the column names is what we just now defined, employee name and salary, and it has these three simple records in it. So let's just use with column renamed is the function that we'll have to use, and using this we can give the existing name, which is employee underscore name, and I want to change it into name. So we'll give in this format the old name and the new name. Okay, and just let's run this. This should probably change the first column name from employee name to a new name called as name. So you can see, right, the entire data is still the same, only the first column from employee name it was renamed as name. So this way we can change a single column, we can rename it. There are scenarios where in a data frame we may have to change multiple columns, for example two columns or maybe three columns. So if there are two columns, we can define them one by one with this function called as with column rename two times. Here I just want to change employee name to name, and even the salary to monthly salary. Okay, so we know that in df actual data frame we have employee name and salary. Let's just change it to name and monthly salary. So we have just used this with column rename two times for each of these columns, one by one. So let's just run this, and I'm again just doing show here to confirm the changes that is applied on it. So you can see from with respect to original data frame, now the column names is changed here. The data is still the same. So this way we can change multiple column names. There is a scenario which is very common when we work in the real world projects. Sometimes what happens, the column names are given as with spaces or maybe with some special characters or anything. So this is not recommended. When we define any schema, we should not give any spaces in it, because it creates a lot of problems while parsing the data or parsing the column names, right? It may treat it as a two different columns. So those things, to avoid those things, sometimes while cleaning the data we need to rename this. So this is also we can do. And what we can do, we can just create a data frame again with spaces, which has spaces in it. Like for example here I am just creating a column name which has spaces in it, and I'll just create a data frame, and then we will try to rename that with spaces. So I'll just create this data frame. Here in again to rename it, we are using again the same function with column renamed. Now this time I'm saying employee space name. I am changing it to employees underscore name. So it is one and the same thing, but we are just removing the space and changing it to underscores. So many times in interviews also this question we may face, how we can rename or how we can remove the spaces from the data frame in the column names and avoid any errors, right? So this is the way that we can do. Here you can see I just changed employee name with underscore employee. Okay, and then the same thing if there are, suppose in this example we just had two columns to rename, right? What if we have multiple columns like 10 to 15 columns? It's suppose it's a very huge data frame with 100 of columns, and we need to change maybe 50 columns out of that, right? So we can't do it like multiple times, we can't define it. It's very not recommended way, and it's not the way that we do. So what we can do is we can just define a dictionary Here what I'm doing is I'm just defining the old name versus the new name. Okay, so key and its value. Here the last name is going to change to L name, salary to monthly salary. Okay, so this way we can define a dictionary with old and new column names here. And what we can do is we can use with column renamed, and we can pass in, we can read this dictionary using a for loop, and we can apply this with column rename to all of these columns one by one, and we can create the final data frame out of it. So how we are doing is, for old column and new column in rename mapping dot item, so rename mapping is the dictionary, and from that I'm saying iterate on item, so each of these items, so this is I'm defining as old column comma new column, so this is old column comma new column. Okay, so for all of these old and new columns in our dictionary, create a new data frame from my actual data frame, but with column renames and old to new. We need to change it like this. So this way we can finally create a new data frame. So this will get created with all the new names as per this mapping dictionary that we are creating. So again, the data and the columns are defined here, and this dictionary defines the old versus new columns, and then we'll just iterate through all those items and change it one by one. So this is the way programmatically we can do. So let me just run this. So here you can see the names that has been applied here. This is the new column names, and the original names were first underscore name, last underscore name, and salary underscore name that we had created. Okay, so this way we can change many number of columns, we can rename it. So that's all for this video. I hope it was clear to you and you were able to understand it. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.